Hey up everybody, you alright? Just a quick video of this to tell you about something that happened last night. It's not clickbait or anything, it's completely 100% true, and I spoke to Helen and I didn't know whether to make a video, but I'll tell you what happened. So I was in Sheffield with Helen last night, and I've got to be vague about some things I say. You'll see why. We were in a specific area and there's been a lot of crime. There's been a gang of what can only be described as feral youths smashing car windows, damaging property. They've even put a house window through when somebody was inside it, and they're causing a lot of problems to the area, and everybody's sort of aware of it and everything, what's going on. So last night I'm walking down the street with Helen about 8 o'clock, it weren't too late, and we see a group of 5 or 6 youths in balaclavas, puffer jackets and balaclavas, hanging around a car. They were obviously, I don't know if they were just going to break into it, they were going to do something. So we didn't know what to do, but we did what you'd probably do, and that's you just stand there watching them. So of course we get what the FNL you looking at, blah blah blah, and then Helen says, well, we're watching you. At which point Helen got a load of abuse from one of these youths, particularly one youth who was really nasty to Helen, swearing, calling her all sorts of names. And of course, you know, I'm an old-fashioned Barnsley bloke, and if somebody speaks to your partner or your wife or something like that, then you're not having it. So I sort of approached him and I give it all the, you know, you speak with respect, who do you think you're talking to, and all that. And he kept sort of backing off. Then I got a load of abuse, fat bar steward, bald, you know, all stuff you normally get. And we had a bit of an altercation. I don't know what I should have done, but you know when you're just in the heat of the moment, and I did sort of go towards this one lad who he was the main, well, there were 2 that were probably main trouble causers. And he kept sort of running off and then coming back to goad me, and I'm going, but you know, I'm like, it must have been like a comedy sketch, me trying to chase this lad. And then they started, so they buggered off and they started chucking rocks at us, huge rocks, and they were hitting cars and damaging cars. So it was quite, your adrenaline's really going. It was quite sort of, you know, when you think about it, and my mum's told me off a bit this morning because I've told my mum all about it, and she says, you're an idiot, because that's how people get stabbed. And I know they do, but you know what it's like if somebody's abusing your partner, you can't just stand there, can you? As a society, we need to step in. And if I ever saw somebody getting bullied or anything like that, I always have to step in. It's just injustice. I hate injustice. So we had all this abuse, and it was backwards and forwards. Anyway, that were it. We got attacked. So it's not clickbait. They were chucking rocks at us. We didn't get hit by any of them. Nearly just whizzed by his head and everything, but we didn't get hit. We didn't get hurt or anything like that. And that was that. But when I was thinking about putting the video up, I thought it could be like an appeal for information. Because, do you know, the biggest thing, I didn't even think to video it. My adrenaline was going so much. Why didn't I bloody video it? It would have been the ultimate, like, clickbait video, wouldn't it? But I don't want to have violence and stuff on my channel. But I wanted to talk about it because what happened after, or sort of during and after, was an amazing thing that really sort of, it's moved me and made me feel better and good about things. So as this was happening, or as it was sort of, I mean, it was like a mini riot. You could hear these rocks hitting cars, and of course these are people's cars that live on, it's like a narrow street of like terraced houses. And people started coming out. And it were all women, the women of Sheffield. You don't mess with women of Sheffield. All ages coming out. I mean, we were talking to one woman, well, there were a couple of women, bless them, and they were terrified. And why should people have to live like that in their own house? Be terrified. But anyway, eventually everybody come out, these lads cleared off. A few people had phoned police, Helen phoned police. But the good thing that's really stuck in my mind about it all is the fact that everyone started talking on the street, and we'd been through this sort of bit of a traumatic thing. People had been watching. Imagine if you're no person looking through your window and there's kids running up and down streets and chucking rocks and stuff like that. It's quite terrifying. I mean, obviously, an hour screaming and shouting and using a few choice words, because you do. I'm a Barnsley lad, aren't I? And you say what needs to be said to these kids, and I were probably stupid. But yeah, everyone's come out and they're all chatting, and these ladies are comforting and reassuring each other. And then they all started swapping telephone numbers. So they've sort of formed an impromptu community, like neighbourhood watch thing, where they've set up a WhatsApp group, and then they're all texting one another all night to reassure one another, trying to find information out about these kids. I was going to say lads. There was one girl actually in with them, and yeah, so that I thought that was amazing. And a few people had phoned the police. And another thing, and it's easy to go on bandwagon and be like, police are rubbish, police this, police that, they don't come if your house get... Let me tell you, there was 4 police cars there within what seemed like a couple of minutes. It was unreal, and they were fantastic. So, fair play to them. We got blue light sirens. They were going round, looking for them. We heard them chasing some kids, but they get away because they just go into woods and stuff, don't they? So they can easily get away, and a couple of them are on scooters as well, so the police have no chance. Now, when this happened, there was 2 lads that were sort of with the group, and when the sort of altercation started between me and the 2 main culprits, these other 2 lads, there were one older one, he was probably about 18, and he seemed a nice lad. And there was a younger lad with him, and we ended up talking to him, and he's like, these are not to do with me, these are not to do, they've just come into my group, they've just started hanging about with us. And it could have been completely lying, I don't know, but he seemed like, when you suss somebody out, and he seemed like a good lad. And because I said to him, well, you don't want to be hanging around with idiots like that. I didn't use that word. You don't want to be hanging about with people like that, because you're going to end up getting in some right bother with people. And he says, I know he's just... And he gave us his name, or what we think was his name, and where he's from roughly. So, but that's another thing. So I've learned 3 things last night. So that's one thing I've learned. If you've got a kid that's going hanging around on streets, make sure you know what they're hanging about with, because they can get involved with some right rough uns, and then it can affect their life big time. If they get involved in some stuff like that and get arrested, it can affect the future, like career prospects and all that. So just, you don't want them getting roped in, because I think a lot of that happens. I think there's nice kids, they get roped in with wrong uns, and there's a lot of wrong uns about this. And I know your reaction is to say, oh, they need a good hiding and stuff, and that's what I was saying last night. And do you know what? It's a good job I didn't catch him, really. I'd have never caught him, but isn't it a good job? Because my adrenaline was going so much, and I might have pasted him, and he might have been a lot younger than I thought. You don't know these days, do you? So it's a good thing that we've let police deal with it and everything. So yeah, just check on your kids who they're hanging about with. That's really important. And also the community thing. Just neighbourhood watch were a massive thing in 90s, weren't it? Were it 90s, 80s and 90s neighbourhood watch, and that was just it was quite moving. So we'd had all that trauma, and then last night when I'd had a pint, I had to go for a pint to sort of calm down, and I was thinking about it, and like, we sort of made friends with people, which is weird, just nice people, and we're in this group. So if anybody hears out, we're going to exchange all this information and that. And then we were sort of laughing, and not laughing, but sending jokes to try and sort of reassure people and stuff like that. So that were amazing. That were a positive. And the other positive were the police. They were great. They were good. So that's it. I just wanted to tell you that video, that story. Why I didn't video it, I have no idea. It didn't even dawn on me till hours later, and I thought, why didn't I bloody video that? Should have videoed it. And I says that to Helen, and she says, I think one of them were videoing you. So I've been on social media, like TikTok and stuff like that, to see if there's anybody put a video of me running off. Some fat bloke wobbling down the street. Come here, you bloody buggers. when I get you. So it must have been a right sight, that. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you that it's all about community. Keep in touch with your neighbours. Look out for one another, because one of them women in particular, she was checking, and I felt so bad, and I wanted to sort of reassure. I wanted to protect her. Do you know what I mean? And we've got to look out for one another, haven't we? It's tough out there, and just keep your eye on your neighbours and stuff. I said we start a movement. We should bring neighbourhood watch back, I think. Let's all care for one another. Anyway, there you go. Little thing that happened last night. It's given me a chance to do a bit of a clickbait title, but it's all true. So there you go. And I'm going somewhere this weekend with Helen. So yeah, check that video out. Thanks for watching. See you, I don't know, Monday, Tuesday. All right, see you.